Hello everyone, this is PNG Tonight. Thank you for tuning in. In this program, former Attorney General Karenga Kua says the Prime Minister and the current Attorney General should relinquish their positions over questions of integrity. An interview with Mr. Kua later in the program. Firstly, an update on the high-profile court cases, allegations and counters between leaders, and discipline or the lack of it within the police force. Here is Bradley Gregory.
Major arrests were made last week by the Fraud and Anti-Corruption Squad. The first arrest was on Justice Bernard Sakora, a Supreme and National Court judge. He was questioned and charged for judicial corruption for allegedly receiving 100,000 kina from a company belonging to a lawyer.
About 100,000 from a company called PKP Nominees Limited, and this company is owned by a lawyer who is currently in the center of the payment of legal bills to Paul Parker lawyers.
Sir Bernard's attorney claims the money came from a vehicle he sold to that company.
His Honor had put out a public notice offering his vehicle, a Ford Everest station wagon, registration number is BCA 531, for sale.
The second high-profile arrest was on Tiffany Twyvie of Twyvie Lawyers. She was charged for one count of attempt to pervert the course of justice. The charge relates to her actions in frustrating the fraud officer's warrant of arrest against Secretary for Treasury Dairivele. The third major arrest last week was on Attorney General and Rigo MP Anopala. He was arrested at the airport and brought in for questioning. After 5 hours, his charge was laid out. He was charged for misconduct in office, alleged to have misappropriated 3 million kina of public funds belonging to his district.
Systems of government, and you get into trouble for doing the right things. That's the best I can put it. But we have to go to court and defend our case. But I can assure you that we have not done anything wrong.
Following the major arrests on the senior cabinet minister, lawyer and Supreme Court judge, the police commissioner, Gary Baki, suspended the head of the Fraud and Anti-Corruption Squad. The commissioner claims the officers didn't get approval from his office before making these arrests, thus amounting to insubordination.
They have a responsibility to ensure that the commissioner is fully briefed, so that when I am asked a question, either by members of the public or politicians for that matter, I'm in a position to tell them exactly why this person has been arrested.
This has raised concerns from the public, even the opposition.
And you should consult the law. What does the law say with regards to arrest? The arresting and police executing their mandated duty without fear or favor. You should check the Constitution. Look at the laws that regulates each constitutional office performing its functions as Commissioner of the Police Force. And the statement that would have been befitting this particular situation is that, well, the police are independent, the fraud squad officers have done the arrest based on evidence they have.
The director of the National Fraud Squad sought to court yesterday. He was a happy man. The court ruled in his favor, temporarily staying his suspension, satisfied there is a case to answer.
The court has actually stayed Mr. Damaro's suspension, pending the matter coming up on the 9th of May. So effectively, Mr. Damaro's suspension has been stayed by the court.
I'm happy with the decision of the court, but I should say here that I have been suspended for just simply doing my job. I have never breached any administrative procedures that I know of. I was simply doing my job and serving the interests of this country.
Immediately after the court's ruling, the head of the police hierarchy sorted to shutting down the fraud office, preventing the small unit from entering its office. Late yesterday afternoon, police officers from the other units stood watch at the office. Baki undertook to explain his move in the evening.
This is the first time I've known that the decision of the commissioner imposing suspension has been stayed in court. In actual fact, it's a sad day for the constabulary. What this means that is basically that any members of the constabulary, if they agree by the decision that is made by either the commissioner or a divisional commander or a provincial police commander, can run to the court and stay the decision of the suspension, even if he has committed a criminal offense.
All these events stem from the long-standing case that involved a law firm over issues of inflated legal bills. The web keeps coiling up. Opposition leader Don Pollier wants the police commissioner to invite Prime Minister Peter O'Neill to the fraud office and have him arrested under the controversial warrant. However, the country's CEO thinks otherwise.
Of course, nobody is above the law, but you must have credible, concrete evidence that these particular charges will stand in court.
The matter has sparked debate on the international media.
Bradley Gregory with that report. After the break, I talked to Karanga Kua, the former Attorney General in this government.